right, guys, so we're going to look back at the Attitude Era, right? The golden era of wrestling, when most of us started watching it. Most people look back fondly, and there was some good things about it.
There were some great things about it.
Yeah. The star power at the top, the main event scene
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love the hardcore scene.
Yeah.
24/7, Defended Anywhere. Crash Holly, Steve Blackman, Raven.
I was a big fan of the Hardy Boys.
Okay, yeah.
Love
Yeah, the tag scene was pretty good then, too.
Yeah, the tag scene.
Hardy Boys,
really
Edge
good.
and Christian.
Yeah, Acolytes.
New Age Outlaws.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good tag scene. Mm-hmm. And then we just glance over so many things.
Oh, man.
Just from bad storylines to just offensive storylines that would not get play now, to just the way they treated women.
Spoiler alert. Very badly.
Yeah.
Very bad.
I mean, there was a bra and panties match at least every week, it felt like.
Somebody was going to be wrestling in mud, jello, pudding of some sort, every week. Women were just going to be showing off their assets, and somebody was getting stripped one way or another.
And there was actually some good wrestling women.
Yeah. But they were
They just got overshadowed, yeah. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, but she looks better
Yep.
by our standards, so we're going to push her.
Yeah.
Oh, she can't wrestle, though. She's only a manager. Yeah, but we need her on screen.
I'm saying, did you see the size of her tits, though?
Puppies, Joe.
No.
Puppies.
My bad. Puppies.
Come on.
Forgot.
King would be so disappointed right
He
now.
really would, too.
Yeah.
I need to start screaming for puppies like I'm some 12-year-old kid who's never seen a boob before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the weird part.
Dude,
it's like, dude, you are 55 years old.
Saying, like 55 years old. You've been in wrestling for so long. We know you've had groupie after groupie.
Yeah.
But here you are on national TV making a complete ass of yourself every time some chick comes out there with some cleavage showing. You're just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, you got kids.
Chill, bro.
Like,
yeah, she's older than... Your kids are probably older than her, and you're fucking flipping out.
Well, he was married to that one, the cat.
The cat, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's your wife, bro. Like,
yeah.
You just want her...
And that's the one that actually ended up getting the show.
Yeah, completely naked.
Yeah.
You're like, that's your wife, bro.
Like, how many people do you think they got to buy pay-per-views just off of the hype of, you might actually see some boobs on this one?
Yeah.
Like, you remember Sable at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view?
Yeah, the handprints.
Yeah, the handprints on it. Dude, you know how many fucking prepubescent children freaked out over that? Like, good God.
And then their mom walked in at only that point in time.
Uh-huh.
They missed, there's probably a great main event. It didn't matter.
No.
Their mom just walked in. What is this?
Here's the best part. Do you remember the main event
No.
from that? Of course you don't.
No.
Nobody remembers the main event from
Come
that.
on.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah.
I was like 10. I only remember.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. What was that?
Whoa. That's all anybody remembers.
And then he had just these garbage storylines. The first one that sticks out to me is Mark Henry and Mae Young. Mae Young gets pregnant at like 70.
Yeah.
And the big payoff is she gives birth to a mannequin hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that the payoff? Where was that going? How'd you get here? What happened after that? Nothing.
How do we decide that in the middle of, trying to basically whore out every female we have on the roster, we turned around and looked at this 70-something-year-old woman like, her too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
By the world's strongest man.
Like, how did we... Or, do you remember the Dudleys? Who was it? It was Bubba Ray, where he powerbombed her off of the fucking stage. I don't care how protected you made this, dude. The fact that somebody allowed him to fucking powerbomb a 70-year-old woman off of a stage.
Yeah, there's a lot of man-on-woman violence then.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the weird playful like you will see in some indie shows now.
Yeah.
Where the guy's like, I don't really want to hit her. Can you quit hitting me? I'll wrap her up and try to take her. No, it was just straight up powerbomb through. Devon, get the table, right? That was the thing.
Dude.
Get the table.
Get the
I'm
table.
about to wreck this bitch.
Yeah. Your grandma's going down today.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
A lot of man-on-woman violence.
Just a lot of horrible. They treated the women like shit back then. They really did.
There was a lot of racially insensitive tropes, right? Most notably, choppy your pee-pee.
Choppy your pee-pee, yes.
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
The Godfather bringing his hose out?
Yeah. Do you remember when DX basically dressed up in blackface?
And did,
and did the Nation of Domination?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Blackface.
Yeah.
We just scrub it from memory. Oh, that didn't happen.
They've gotten away with so much stuff and nobody's ever called them out over it. Like, we are calling out fucking Pepe Le Pew over his sexual undertones, but Jerry Lawler's still getting to go out there every week and call a match. I mean, nobody said nothing about it. I mean, the way they treated Jim Ross, too, after he had the stroke and the Bell's palsy and everything, they just put that man out there just...
Let me say, I was a big DX fan, right? They were super cool growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Their war on Monday Nitro was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Loved it.
But yeah, they did a lot of shit where you're like, ugh.
I can't look back and not cringe now when I hear, let's get ready to suck it. And just...
Yeah.
I mean, we all did this, but now... You should at least look at it and be like, nah, man, that was a different time.
Yeah.
Some of y'all grown men out there are still really running around like, suck it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at kids now, when they dab and you're like, dab? That's how you should feel about suck it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, that is their version of that.
Yeah. And you're like, who's dabbing?
I'm saying,
suck it, kid.
You look at these kids sitting there doing these TikTok dances and talking about they're going to hit the whoa or something. You're like, oh my God, what is wrong with you kids? And you're all still the same people who go around being like, for life.
You didn't have to call them out like that, Joe.
I'm sorry.
What I thought was the cringiest thing going on at the time, and this was a little later in the Attitude Era, but when Vince McMahon would pull his pants down and make people literally kiss his ass.
Yeah.
Like, what? Just an ego trip from hell.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, there's not a chance I would do that. Not a chance.
And these people would get down there.
Yeah. It's like, dude, there's no need for that at all.
That is just a power trip for a man who... And, you know, and you got to say that, like, at his age at that time, because he was, like, in his mid-50s or something. I think he was mid-50s. I mean, dude was in phenomenal shape. Incredible shape. You know, he had just brought that company back from the brink of fucking, you know, death or whatever. So, yeah, and he had every right to be proud of his accomplishments and everything like that. But not to the point where you need to be on TV pulling down your pants being like, kiss my ass.
Listen, when he said he's in phenomenal shape, the only thing I thought was the Royal Rumble where Batista and John Cena go out at the same time.
All of his quads.
He runs down there and tears both quads so he can't get up when he slides in the ring. So he's just sitting there like throwing a fucking temper tantrum. That's the funniest shit, man.
Yeah,
it really just was. So powerfully jumps, tears both quads to the same thing. It's like a toddler.
The thing you gotta like wonder is too, how was that man at 55 years old that damn strong?
Oh, I mean,
you know how. Exactly.
There's only one answer to that.
Bro, he ain't gonna tell me Vince McMahon. There's no fucking 55-year-old man on the cover of Men's Health or Fitness Magazine or whatever that fucking jacked and it's
ripped.
Normal.
Yeah.
That's not natural.
Before the Attitude Era, right, they had like the steroid scandal. So he like shows up to what with a neck brace on? Do you remember that? That's not the Attitude Era, but it's just like, why are you wearing a neck brace, man? Steroids has nothing to do.
I can't be taking steroids. Look at me, I'm injured right now.
Yeah, I'm hurting, guys. Yeah. No steroids.
Then suddenly fucking, that whole scandal goes away, and the next thing you know, this son of a bitch coming out like, what's up, bro? Like, Vince, what's going on?
It almost feels like he stumbled into the Attitude Era, right? Because he had the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
And everybody fucking hated him. They just hated him. Mm-hmm. And he kind of just fell into it.
Yeah.
And then he had the perfect anti-hero in Stone Cold Steve Austin coming along.
Yeah.
And he just stumbled head over heels.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, into the best rivalry in sports history, probably.
Yeah.
Stone Cold is the boss. Mm-hmm. Not even fighting another wrestler.
No.
But yeah, it just kickstarted the Attitude Era. Just to the moon.
I don't know, do you remember the payoff for that fucking rivalry?
Yeah.
That St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
Oh, in the
steel cage match.
The Big Show showing up. Yeah.
I felt like that was such a letdown. I don't know. It felt disappointing to me.
Well, I don't know if this is the end of the Attitude Era, but kind of like the unofficial end. But when Stone Cold turned heel and joined Vince McMahon when he was fighting The Rock.
Yep.
That was such a twist, and then it just went nowhere.
Yeah.
Stone Cold as a bad guy was not nearly as intimidating. Just in the back playing his guitar, singing about his feelings and shit.
That guitar.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you were such a badass.
Yes.
And now you get to be even badder. But now you're just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
What a letdown.
Yep. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, we just made Mankind, Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him, we just made him the fucking crash test dummy bitch for the whole fucking federation. I mean, just did not care about his life.
I was gonna say, he kind of ruined a whole generation of up and coming wrestlers.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that's what I gotta do to get. No, it's not, bro.
No.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
You're gonna wreck yourself.
Yeah. And how many people did you see or hear about that went out there and done that kind of stuff because they thought that is how I'm gonna get noticed? You know, that was something else that I always thought was really odd, was like, you always had these videos that started off with WWF being like, don't try this at home. We are trained professionals. Don't try this at home. But then in montages where they would show like the Hardy Boys or like
in their backyards,
in their backyards, and they're like, this is how these guys started.
Yeah, this is how they did it.
So this is kind of like the most mixed signal.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you telling me?
Hardy Boys have been trying this at home since they were 8. Look at them now.
Exactly.
Don't try this at home though. Don't try this at home unless you want to be uber successful.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't go out there and try to jump off the roof of your house.
Yeah.
Also, here's footage of Cactus Jack when he was 18 jumping off the roof of his house.
Yeah.
I mean, what were you really telling people?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never thought of that. That's a good point, though. Because I definitely remember all these montages. Look at them. Just in their backyard. They love it. It's in their blood. Do not try this at home.
What are you kids thinking? Also, we got a contract waiting for you if you survive.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, then it's like... But then, yeah, you just had all these terrible storylines. Like another one is Big Boss Man feeding Al Snow his dog.
Poor Pepper.
Yeah, and then they have Hell in a Cell dog kennel.
Dog kennel match.
Well, it's like, you can train these dogs, but then you put them in front of, like, what, 20,000 people, and they're just, like, shitting all over the floor.
It's like, you obviously were not going out there and finding the most rabid dogs to put in there, because you don't want to seriously risk hurting these wrestlers, you know? Like, you don't want to take that risk of them actually attacking the wrestlers. And there's no real way to, like, partially train a dog to, you know, fake attack somebody. Like, I don't know if we've gotten that far to where we can just teach them to fake attack or what. But yeah, so what were you aiming to accomplish with this? It's like, oh, man, we got a great idea here.
Just have these dogs and we'll just keep them.
Yeah.
They'll just bark.
Yeah, it's like we're going to have these big, vicious-looking animals that... Yeah, that's going to work great. Or Undertaker and Big Boss Man Hell in a Cell, where Undertaker hung Big Boss Man with the noose.
Yeah.
What were we doing?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I thought it was badass at the time.
We all did.
Yeah. Looking back now, I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
No. It's like, whew, that did not age very well.
Well, speaking of The Undertaker, there was this huge storyline, right? The higher power.
The Ministry of Darkness.
The Undertaker reporting to the higher power, right? Kidnapped Stephanie McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin saving her. Then the higher power is Vince McMahon?
That was probably some of the worst acting from The Undertaker, too. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but there's one part that always sticks out to me. It's like when she gets into this limo and he's the driver and he, like, takes off his hood and he turns around and he's like, "Where to, Stephanie?" Ha 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 ha. It's like, it was so fucking cheesy, man. It was so horribly scripted. You're like, just no. Just don't.
I feel like that storyline started with someone else in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if they just changed their mind midstream or what, but having Vince McMahon as the higher power, it's just another disappointing conclusion.
And you know what? While we're talking about Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, the whole fucking family, this is going to tie back to the sexist the whole thing going on with them back then. What kind of a dad basically pimps out his daughter? Because the way he made her look on there, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was pretty young at the time, too.
Yeah. And he's just throwing her out there like, yeah, you're hot enough. I can go ahead and throw you up there.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, it's not really incest, but whatever. We're just gonna skip over to beaver cleavage. Do you remember this
Beaver cleaver.
Like, what?
Oh, dear Lord.
What? His mom's his manager, but he's also...
He also wants to boink mother.
Yeah. Who greenlighted that?
The same person who greenlighted half this bullshit in that era. Like, is this controversial? Yeah. Is this gonna get us some ratings? Maybe. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Send them out there.
I'm saying. Like, who greenlighted Hawk's alcohol addiction?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His real life alcohol addiction,
Yeah.
and then they're just calling him out on screen.
Yeah, like they had him up on top of the Titantron, like
Yeah.
stumbling around. They're like, oh my God, he's so fucking wasted.
And you know, the whole time he's like, thanks guys, this is really fucking helping.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. I mean, that's now this came later on, obviously. It was after WCW was shut down, but then they brought the NWO back and they had Hall there. And Hall was, at the time, in rehab for his alcohol addiction. And you know what they did? They locked the man in a fucking room full of alcohol on one of the episodes of Raw.
It's a good decision.
Who decides this kind of stuff? They're like, oh, he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know, inconsiderate of people.
Yeah.
I guess that's the whole point of most of the Attitude Era, right? You had
Yeah.
some good storylines, but then just the way they treated.
The Brawl for All.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was, yeah.
That was a clusterfuck disaster.
Yeah. So it's set up for Dr. Death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve Williams. And then he let people actually fight, and it didn't end up that way.
No. Apparently we found out that Bart Gunn was a badass.
Yeah. Billy Gunn's lesser known brother.
Yeah.
He whooped the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. They did not count on that to happen.
Yeah. So then they were like, what do we know?
Yep.
Let's have him fight Butterbean.
Yeah.
So now you took the guy who's essentially the baddest dude in your company, and you fed him to a real fighter. So now everybody in your company looks like a huge pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great playing, guys. Great playing.
Yeah, because you fucking know, you can't put, as good as Bart Gunn was in that, dude, you could not put him up against fucking Butterbean.
Yeah.
I mean, Butterbean was just savage back then.
Yeah. First of all, just a real fighter.
Yeah.
And then Butterbean was so much bigger
Yeah.
and stronger.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on. Horrible plan.
Dude, the worst.
Like, if you want Steve Williams to be the next tough guy to fight Stone Cold Steve Austin, just write it in. Mm-hmm. You can't just make up some tournament and then be like, I'm sure he'll win.
Yeah. And what was it? Vince Russo apparently was like so pissed off with Bradshaw. That's what he said inspired him to make it. Because Bradshaw was like, oh, I'm the toughest person here. So he's like, okay, we're going to see about that. We're going to see if you're really the toughest person here. And he wasn't. But I feel like we didn't have to ruin so many people's fucking careers and lives just to spite Bradshaw. Because Bradshaw's still done good after that.
Yeah.
You know, he still fucking became a world champion and all this other shit afterwards. So what did you accomplish?
Hey, that career move by Bradshaw, switching to JBL. What was that? How did it work so well?
Because that's who he really was.
Bro.
That's the amazing part. Like, seeing him as the Acolyte guy, that was just a character, but he played it so damn well that you thought that's who he was. And then when you find out later on, it's like, no, this guy's actually like some fucking day trading stock, you know.
Well, when I first saw it, I was like, what is this garbage? What happened to the Acolytes? Who's this piece of crap?
Yeah.
But then he was so unlikable. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that's because that's who he really was.
Yeah.
You hear these stories now about him, like treating everybody like shit?
Yeah.
Like, fuck that guy.
How often do you hear somebody being like, yeah, fuck Bradshaw?
Yeah, nobody's like, wow, Bradshaw is a really cool guy. No, they're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And who was it? Who's the commentator that knocked him out or at least punched him in the face. You know what I'm talking about? He was like bullying him, and then just this commentator just punched him right in the face.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I don't know who it was.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently not so tough when somebody actually pushes back.
Yeah. That's how it usually is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, Attitude Era. We still look back on it fondly because everybody does, right?
Yeah.
The stars at the top were so good. You can look back, you know, Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane, just stacked at the top.
Even like the mid-card wrestlers, had something going for them. You know, like their mid-card was good. Like D'Lo Brown, you know, Al Snow, Big Boss Man, Steve Blackman. Your tag team division was incredible back then. You know, from top to bottom, they had the talent there to really do something. But it was all this filler shit that they put in the middle of it.
The storyline writing
just trash.
So bad.
Trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still good. I still watch it and enjoy it sometimes on YouTube.
Yeah.
But don't watch today's wrestling and be like, oh, this is garbage compared to the other. It's probably not. You probably just aren't remembering correctly.
No, you're seeing it through some rose-colored glasses or something.
Yeah. I bet the Attitude Era is not as good as you remember it being.
All right, guys. So this week, I leave you this. And we're coming up on 420. And for anybody who basically has not been living under a rock for the past decade or two, everybody wants to sit around and just celebrate 420 and be like, oh, 420, 420, 420, stones, smoke some, blah, blah. Look, there ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. I like weed. I do. But my problem is when you make your whole identity based off of something, just fucking stop it. Like, who are you for real? Like, you need to figure out who you are. When all you do is want to run around and be like, yeah, 420, yeah, blaze it. It's just like, find something else. Make yourself more, develop your character or whatever. Get some depth to who you are. You're just running around and all you are is about, you know, The Office or Harry Potter. What Hogwarts home are you? And
It's like, you gotta be a complete person.
Yeah.
A well-developed person, right? So like, oh, what Hogwarts house are you? I don't know, bro.
I'm not that focused on it.
I don't even know the options. I'm gonna be honest with you.
For real.
If you say Hufflepuff, I'm gonna punch you right in the throat. There's only
the word Hufflepuff.
There's only two options, right? You can either be Slytherin or whatever fucking house Harry Potter's in. I don't know the name of it, but those are the only two options. Dude. You don't get to be a Harry Potter hipster and say Hufflepuff like you're too fucking cool.
Yeah, you're so
to be a Slytherin.
Yeah,
like get out of here.
So awesome, dude. Also, you know, and this is gonna sound really like odd for me to say because obvious reasons. All right, if you're a vegan, don't go around all day telling everybody you're a vegan. Nobody really cares that fucking much to hear it. All right, you don't need to start every conversation with every person you meet as, well, you know, I'm a vegan, or throw it in there somehow casually, just dropping it in. Or CrossFit too. If you fucking do CrossFit, good for you, man. Go throw a tire somewhere else on your own time. You don't fucking got to tell me about it.
If your bio has the word activist in it, you can shut the fuck up forever.
Yes.
I don't care what you have to say. You're just walking around looking for something to bitch about.
Yeah.
Live your life.
That. Yes.
Live your life.
Yeah. Also, same goes for if your bio says influencer. All right. We don't care.
Yeah. I don't care what you're trying to sell me.
No. Don't be hitting me up in my DMs talking about I have a great opportunity for you.
Yeah.
I have one for you too. It's called Shut the Fuck Up. There's no charge for that. You won't be involved in a pyramid scheme whatsoever. Promise. All right.
See you next week.
Take care.